folks, and welcome to the Santa Clarita Valley Leadership and Business Solutions podcast. I'm Paul Raggio.
And I am Lisa Raggio, and we are here today, tomorrow, and in the future to help you find your way. And we are so proud to be partnering with Signal to bring you a weekly webcast on best practices as it relates to leadership and business.
And today we wanted to focus on step 2 of a 6-step process that we've introduced in the past. And just as a reminder, the first step is really reducing the chaos in your business, and it focuses on 4 elemental business practices. And one is having a vision. Second is knowing your numbers, really what are your financial reports. Third is time management. We see so many issues with time management with business owners. And then fourth is the delivery of your services or products and the reliability and quality associated with it. So that's the first step. And if you master that, we often coach business owners going to the second step, which is really about marketing. And we focus in 3 areas there, which is really what's your unique selling proposition? What guarantees do you have that you can really ensure that the customer gets the product or service that they need and want? And then finally, we'll talk about 5 variables that produce sustainable cash flow for your business. So Lisa, maybe talk a little bit about marketing and the importance of that in the business.
Yes, well, you started off with reminding our listeners in regards to mastery. And when we're talking about the foundational work, and this can be before you begin a business, 2 months into a business, or 20 years into a business, of really taking the time to get clear on your why, the purpose of the business, and then to be defining the vision and the mission and your values. And those are all things that are going to iterate into commitment statements. And just focusing on that, when people talk about, well, I don't have time, I'm not quite sure what my why is, this all sounds lofty, and how does it apply to my business? I'll tell you what we've seen time and again, whether you're small business or corporate, when you are clear and you can communicate your vision, mission, purpose, that becomes one of the best ways in which you can message all of those things, and you can market them. So you could have a marketing campaign that just focuses on where are you going to broadcast your vision? Is that going to be on your website? Are you going to put it on your signature line? Same with your mission. And then when you look at your values, which we'd like to refer to as your points of culture, those values, if it was a handful, or Paul and I in One True North, we have 12 values that we adhere to, and those become the guidelines and how we're going to behave to conduct our business and our team. You could break those down, and you could have one a month that you could be broadcasting out and talking about why that value is important to you. So these are really defining things that lend to the foundational work and mastery. But once you're clear on them and know them and publish them, you have an opportunity to market them. So that's one of the things that you could be marketing once you're clear on your commitment statements.
Yeah, part of this process is understanding how all these pieces fit together. So in any business, you have business development, and business development is made up of 3 elements. One is marketing. One is actually sales. How do you convert those that you're marketing to become a customer or client? And then the third is customer service. And we're looking at that customer service piece now too, and we're using a different word. We heard this on last week's podcast with Michelle Ray, and it's really called stewardship. And if you use the word stewardship for customer service, it has so much greater meaning, is that you're truly reaching out to past customers to ensure that they're satisfied with the product, services, the delivery of those services that you've had. So putting that together in your framework, and then looking at how you market to a target segment becomes really important for the growth of your business.
Yes, Paul, I'm reminded of our discussion last week too, again, talking to Michelle Ray, but we then were able to apply it with a client. And I'm a big fan of that word because of my nonprofit work for the last 20 years. And more in our coaching, I really see so many of the parallels of taking from one sector to the next. And in the nonprofit sector, what I like to call the for impact sector, it really emphasizes the ideal of stewardship, of it's not just quickly getting donors and cultivating donors, but it's in regards to going a step beyond and being a steward for them. And that means a lot of relationship building, accountability, and making sure that you're checking with them on a regular basis, not to ask for money, but just to be aiming at that relationship. So we had a client that we were talking to, and they were focusing on how they can create a referral program. And they went back and did a great job of organizing who had been past people that had made referrals for them. So that was wonderful that he collected the data and then recognized that he hadn't thanked them, had some kind of system in place in which he thanked them. But he also knew that this was an opportunity to be asking for referrals in the future. And the first thing we talked about is just to reach out to those folks and thank them. And the reason why we're bringing it up now under marketing is that is a form of marketing. Now, if your intention is first, you're sincere, you're authentic, and you're going back and recognizing people that you can express gratitude for, then that's the right thing to do. And it also is a form of marketing. You're able to communicate, something new in regards to your business, appreciation for how they've supported you and your work. And that in and of itself is marketing.
We've talked about this, especially during the pandemic, that your marketing effort has to be communicated clearly to your target market. And it has to be in the proper tone. So there's some things that you had to change as a result of the pandemic that let your customer know that you understood some of the circumstances that they're dealing with. So the way that you market changes, and it changes based upon conditions. And so the pandemic is a good example, although once in a lifetime or generational, that this event occurred. Nevertheless, there will be things in the future that occur in your business where your marketing has to be adaptive to whatever the conditions are, and then it's proliferated, whether it's through direct marketing campaigns. I know Lisa wants to talk about websites as well as social media and the importance of that. It's integrated in a comprehensive marketing campaign, so there's some continuity to what you're doing. But those pieces in your tenor and the way that you're presenting yourself and your business have to be based upon the conditions that are existing in today's environment.
Right.
So, for example, we've been through the pandemic. Now, just think of this. We know that the second half of the year, there's going to be explosive economic activity. There just is. So there's so much pent-up demand. There has been savings that have occurred. So you can be guaranteed that the general population is going to buy. Now, the question is they're going to buy your product or services, and have you positioned yourself to take advantage of that? And that's why we're talking about marketing today, because it's so important that you make the effort today to really put together a comprehensive marketing campaign plan that will almost serve as a relaunch to your business here in the next few months.
Yes, and keeping it simple. I think a lot of business owners and organizational leaders that we talk to, rightly so, they feel overwhelmed and where to start and what to communicate. And we often recommend just to break things down and first and foremost communicate. What we've seen in this last year is, especially at the beginning, when people are in that, we've talked about this before, when they are in a state of crisis or crisis is around them, some people tend to not communicate. They don't know what to say. And so they wait. They wait to communicate as they try and figure out what to say. And we encourage you to just keep communicating. That can be something very simple that you're putting out there. It can be as easy as making a phone call and checking on your clients or your customers. And that in itself, like I said, is marketing. And then breaking things down and what you could be broadcasting out there. So if you haven't started a newsletter before, or having some kind of regularity in your communicating out, we suggest you start. MailChimp, that's one that we use, and there's others, Constant Contact as well, that you can get for free. And just start communicating something out. You could be communicating one thing out, but you want to focus on building your database. When it comes to best business practices, one of the best things you can do is just look for ways to increase your database, because the more people that you can communicate to, the more likely, and the more regularly you can communicate, the more likely then they're going to think of you when and if the time comes up for what it is that you provide in the service. And then the other thing is your website. Boy, we have met so many business owners and organizational leaders that are clear on who they are and what they do and how they serve. So they're clear in regards to their vision and their mission. And when we go to their website, we don't find any of that. It's lacking in that. So that's one of the first things you can do too, is update and refresh your website. Does it contain your commitment statements? Do you have an opportunity to express your values? You could create a page that is testimonial driven. Another way in regards to marketing is to reach out to people and create a very brief free survey through SurveyMonkey. And then at the end, ask them to share an experience that they had with you or your staff that made a difference to them. And if you get a handful of testimonials back, you're able to put that on your website. Also, take it as an opportunity to educate and engage your followers or your clients or your customers. We created a COVID-19 resource page, and we did that quite frankly because we had one of our clients say, we had been pushing out some information through email on a regular basis. And when we followed up with her one-on-one, she said, you know, I appreciate it so much, but I am lost and overwhelmed, and it's too much. There is too much information coming at me. But if you give me just one place to go where you're posting the information that you think is value added to me as a business owner, and you've already reviewed it and you think it's good, she said, that would be a great way to keep me abreast of information. So it came from a client giving us our feedback, and then with some of the slides that we've created during this time that we think have been really helpful from an image point of view in talking to our clients, we've put that on our COVID-19 resource page. So if you look at our website, onetruenorthcoach.com, we have really evolved our website in the last year based upon feedback from clients, having clarity on who we are, what we do, and how we serve, how you can reach us, having people talk about our work through videos. Very important, because as we all know, videos is the driver for communicating now more than content. But we've got both on there. And then creating that COVID-19 resource page as well, so that people can see, you know, our subject matter expertise and how we can help business owners and organizational leaders.
You have to be able to adapt and really grow with this environment. And we'll use ourselves as an example. Look, we were very amateurish when it came to social media. Even our website was pretty amateur. And we had to, over this past year, really focus on how do we develop this? And then as a brand, how do we get our message out? A lot of people are reluctant to do videos. And so there's some hesitation to be on camera, and you worry about cosmetic things. Well, how do I look? How do I sound? But that's not what's important. What's important is that you come across as the subject matter expert in whatever it is that you're delivering, or that you have the best product that customers are going to value because of the needs that they have today. And you're able to articulate why they need your product, and it's going to help benefit them or bring value to them. So step out there. I mean, if you do have some subject matter expertise, start a blog. We write a weekly article. We post it on LinkedIn. Now the Signal, our local newspaper, has decided to pick up that as a weekly column in the business section. You can read it there. An offshoot of that is we do a 3 to 5 minute video giving leadership and best business practice tips, and it's a follow-up of the article that we wrote. So we're really leveraging that writing. And then we've been approached by the Signal to do this podcast so we can bring out educational content for the public at large. And as important is that you're picking up lessons from proven business leaders in the community on challenges that they faced and how they overcame them. This is all part of a grander marketing plan.
Right. And Paul, when you talked about social media, that's an opportunity like we did to create your company page. So we've come across a lot of business owners and organizational leaders too, that they may have their personal pages on there, Facebook, LinkedIn, and there's Instagram, and the list goes on. We concentrate on two. We think that it's the most value added to be looking at two particular social media platforms and what we can do to develop those, go from managing to mastering them. And we're still in that process. As Paul said, we're newcomers to this. So it's been in the last year that we've developed these pages. But we have our One True North LinkedIn page and our One True North Facebook page. And that's an opportunity to be posting the articles, information that's going to direct people back to the websites, and some of these conversations as well. We'll have this podcast that gets posted on both of those pages every single week. And another thing that you can be doing as a tip is once you've developed those pages and thinking, well, I'm overwhelmed with what would I be posting? What will I communicate? I can't keep up with that. Well, follow industry leaders that you would benefit from. And you're going to get then on your feed information and articles from those industry leaders. And one thing you can do is once you've read the articles, share that article, make a 2 to 3 sentence summary, or why that article resonates with you, or how you think it could help people that would be your clients. And that's one way you can just start to develop your social media pages. And it takes time, and it takes a I would say a comfort level too. I know that in the last year there's been a lot going on in regards to social media. But if you're focused on just your business, right, and you're aiming to develop your business page and what you could be doing to educate, that's the best hat you can be wearing in regards to developing your business social media pages.
And we have learned by doing this that don't give just a thumbs up. Make a comment, get engaged with your audience, and demonstrate that you have enough of an interest in making even one sentence comment. I mean, it doesn't take anybody any bit of time to do that. And the other thing that we advise you on is make the comment positive. I mean, we've seen a lot of trash on social media that just really belittles or degrades the individual who's making that comment. Don't do that. I mean, from a business standpoint, that just doesn't make sense. So make a comment, and make it positive, contribute to whatever the discussion is according to that. It will help you immensely in terms of your brand and brand recognition. One of the
Yeah,
things we talk, go
yeah,
ahead,
just
Liz.
one more footnote to that, Paul, is that, and sometimes we don't want to take things for granted and assume anything. Uh, it's also best practice in overall, if whatever you're putting on social media, people can see you. And if you are in business, then it behooves you to abstain from making comments that would lend to any kind of political commentary. And I know that sounds for many of our listeners obvious, but we know and we've seen others that it's not obvious. And again, we're wearing the hat of best business practice and best leadership practice.
Or
So
take the vulgarity out of it. I mean, any of that. Act professional when you respond to this type of thing.
exactly. I always say, when in doubt, leave it out on social media.
That's a great lesson.
Yes.
Marketing from getting inside your head now. We've seen business owners where they look at marketing as an expense, too costly, that we can't afford to do this. Well, our point is it's really an investment, and you can't afford not to do it. If you want business, you have to market. You have to be able to put together some type of campaign that gets out to your prospective customer base and brings them into whatever product or services that you're selling. This is an important concept for you in developing, whether it's through your budget or your financial forecast, that you treat this as an investment, and there may be some great investment parts out of it. For example, uh, a referral program. If you have a referral program that's based upon existing clientele, that's probably the best value of your marketing dollars, is investing in that referral program, than it may be doing a direct mail campaign. Those are things that you'd have to weigh doing it. But importantly, you have to think of this as an investment, not as an expense. If you have an ongoing business, you're always going to be devoting dollars to this investment. That's an important piece of this.
Right. And Paul, you mentioned something at the beginning of the conversation. It's a good time to kind of flesh this out now, USP. And in the for-profit, we talk about unique sales proposition. In the for impact, we talk about unique service proposition. And one of the things you can do now, we would highly recommend it, is to be doing a SWOT analysis on your business. And a SWOT analysis, we've talked about this before. You could look it up online. There's a lot of great questions you'll find online in regards to strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and taking an assessment of your business. This gives you clarity on some call them competitors, we call them what's co-opetition or cooperative, however you'd pronounce that, when it comes to looking not as your competitors as something that you have to either be beating the price or competing with them, but you getting really clear on you and your business and who you are. And remember, because we're big Simon Sinek fans, so we've talked about this before, people buy you and who you are more than what or how your product is made or what you deliver. So now's a great time to be doing a SWOT analysis on your business, getting clear on your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then you being clear on 3 to 5 things that make your business unique. What are your USPs? And you can look to your strengths and your opportunities in regards to thinking through what are those things. And now you've got another opportunity to market. That's something that you could be posting on your website. It's something that you can put out in your regular newsletter. It's something that you could broadcast on your social media platforms. Break it down. If you've collected a handful of things that are a USP for you and your business, then you could be looking at that as the next 5 months, once a month. You're going to be showcasing what it is that makes you unique in particular to one USP and breaking that down. But that's another great way. You should be really clear on what your USPs are, because you are your greatest ambassador for your business. You are always in a position to message any number of your commitment statements, again, your vision, mission, purpose, values, and your USPs. What are your unique sales or service propositions you can share with other people?
Before we close out, one of the things that we'll use this as a teaser, Lisa, is that one of our next podcasts is going to be on sustainable cash flow, which is really important as the second step in mastering your business. And it falls right in line with marketing, because we just talked about marketing being an investment. But we'll talk through 5 variables that are critically important for your business and the development of strategies associated with them. So the first variable is really lead generation. The second is how do you convert those leads to customers or clients? The third is the number of sales that you can make per client. Then the fourth would be your average dollar sale per client. And then finally, really focusing on your profit margin, with deals with a host of subjects in terms of cost elements and revenue. So that's something that we'll talk about in the future, but it's a baseline for whatever marketing that you have for your business.
Yes, and final tip, Paul, and I'm excited about having that conversation and sharing it with our listeners. Under USP2 is, and this can give our listeners some food for thought until next time, is your guarantee. After you've done that SWOT analysis, after you've figured out your USPs, what is it that you can commit to and guarantee to your current and future customers and or clients And that becomes another opportunity for you to market your business.
Yeah, this point is so important. If you believe in what you produce or service that you sell, you should have a guarantee associated with it. Now, we're business coaches, and you won't find many firms that do this, but we will. We'll guarantee our service. We have a guarantee that if you're dissatisfied with our coaching services, that you'll be refunded the incremental difference from what our plan was and what we actually performed to. That's important. We believe in what we say, and the guarantee is a bond between you and your client, something that every one of you should have within your business.
Yes. So this is a wonderful opportunity to look forward to what we're going to talk about next time. And, I would suggest listeners too, if you listen to this a couple of times and walk away with 3 things that you're going to commit to after listening to this particular webcast. Because we're big believers in not waiting to make big changes and major improvements, but taking it one incremental step at a time. And over time, you're going to see growth and success when you have that kind of outlook.
Yeah, you've got to take action. And so we're here to help you. And so let's talk a little bit about an offering that we have for you that there's no strings attached. It's free, and it's called a business health checkup. If you're in business and you're having some challenges today, and most of you have with the pandemic that has impacted your growth and sales, come see us. You'll have an opportunity to sit with 2 experts. We diagnose some areas within your business that we may or may not be able to help with, but we assure you that when you walk out of this, it will be of value. We go through an exhaustive checklist of different parts of your business. We ask you questions. It's all confidential. We don't share any of this information with anybody else, but it's truly a great value for you to take opportunity and see us. Just contact us or message us, and Lisa will give you a lot of information about our website and some of our other offerings.
Yeah, the next best step is to visit our website, onetruenorthcoach.com. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, that's a great opportunity that you can find out more about who we are, what we do, how we serve, how we could help you, and sign up for the business health checkup. Again, as Paul said, it's free and there's no strings attached, and you walk away with a great opportunity to be thinking through your business and the next best steps. You'll find value from our COVID-19 resource page. And then also have an opportunity to see our testimonials and how we've helped other business owners and organizational leaders. And then lastly, visit our One True North Facebook page and our One True North LinkedIn page, and use that as a template or example for you to get started. If you haven't developed that, then look to that to see what it is that you can do in the next best steps for your marketing and your business. So we look forward to next time. Take advantage of our offer for a complimentary business health checkup. Visit us at onetruenorthcoach.com, and we look forward to being with you next week to help you find your way.